Gearing alts has never been easier before in Dragonflight, and with a couple of specific tips, you can actually gear your alts and potentially even your mains faster than you have been able to in the past. This first tip is kind of well known, but I don't think that everybody is aware of how it ends up working and how you can potentially be able to abuse it to be able to gear alts all the way up to your main. And so there's this feat of strength achievement that's Harbinger of the Runed, and it says outgrow the use of Runed Harbinger's Crest during the war within Season 1. You have the same thing for Gilded. Basically, once your gear is always already above this max of hero track to where like the myth track would be lower, so 619 item level is what it is for Season 1. Basically, you get a crest discount on all of your following characters. It's part of the war banding system, and so basically if we then go and hop over to my druid, whenever I go to upgrade any of the gear up to that 619 item level, because I have that feat of strength unlocked on my main character for this season, then my alts are going to take 10 heroic crests per stage of an upgrade. So typically it ends up being 15, but you're actually going to end up saving just an insane amount of crests in the long term if you're able to do this. This will allow you to get your alts geared up at like pretty much as fast as you reasonably can. And so right as you see right here, now there isn't like a massive Flightstone discount because Flightstones are still mad expensive, but there is a pretty steep crest discount in the long term. And so that will help you get gear. Obviously, I can't upgrade this past 619. I don't have a bunch of Gilded Crests on this guy, but this will help you get a bunch of 619 gear if your main has already maxed out the hero track on a lot of their characters. So that's the first tip. The second tip is even crazier, and with crafting, you get a full spark this next week. And so with you getting a full spark this next week, I think it was time to make a video talking about some of the crafting stuff and ways that you can get free upgrades, I guess is how I would describe it. So I got a DM from Karasis a few days ago, and he goes, I assume you already are aware of the crafting crest saving trick for Alkstone one-handed weapons and rings. And I go, I'm not. He goes, whenever you recraft these things, they count as a second item for crest discount purposes. And I go, so what? So you craft it one time, and then you get it recrafted, and then you can upgrade the second slot to 636. He says it's a little bit more complicated with the alchemy stone, since you need to personally be the alchemist to recraft it off of rank 5. You need to change one of the optional reagents and make a work order. But the lazy method of doing this is obviously just rank 4 to rank 5. And the second slot is 633 anyways. I've personally done this with Alkstone, but apparently this was used during Race World First prominently, mostly for weapons. You also need to relog after recrafting before it works. So you can't recraft it personally for it to count as a new item. It needs to also be somebody else. And so for weapons, this is actually a huge deal. I know a lot of people already, I don't say already, but maybe already have their weapons crafted. But for like a Fury Warrior that's going to be crafting like two-handed weapons or something like that, and they want two-handers, this is going to be good for you on this next week whenever you're able to actually get that second two-hander. Or like say you take it, actually this wouldn't even work if you're crafting a second two-hander, but like for Fury Warrior with two-handers, you get one out of your vault, and if you've already crafted one, you recraft it, and then you can upgrade the second one to 636. I have the 639 ring. In theory, if I had crafted a Binding of Binding or something like that at 636 and then recrafted it, I would have been able to upgrade this ring for no Gilded Crest cost. And this will end up saving you like 45-ish, maybe even more, potentially Gilded Crests per slot that you do this in. This is going to be great for trinkets if you're able to craft the alchemy stone like Karasis is suggesting. It's also fantastic for weapons. And so that's just another way to really accelerate your gearing just in the long term. And so, yeah, those are the two biggest things that I've seen from this expansion for being able to fast track your gearing process. Obviously, doing Mythic Plus, whenever you're doing Mythic Plus, +9 is the end of where the the hero track ends for Mythic Plus. Obviously, is if you want Gilded Crests, I believe that those start at an 8, and then if you need Myth Track out of your vault, which I think that everybody needs Myth Track out of their vault because it is insanely complicated, I think that most people are aware that that starts at +10, and you have to do a +10 to be able to get Myth Track out of your vault. And so obviously plugging that is a bit of a slog, bit complicated, but it's definitely something that you should be looking to do if you're looking to fast track the gearing process on your characters as fast as possible. Anyways, that's going to be it for me today. I just wanted to get this video up talking about gearing on alts because I had a friend, Trell, gear his Prot Warrior utilizing some of these techniques in approximately 48 hours, and he took the character all the way from like not even level 80 professional skier, all the way up to, let's see what the character is. I was watching Growl. I think this character might be, yeah, 618 with a 4 set in 48 hours. Gearing is quite fast right now. Anyways, goodbye.